Hi there, Agile friends. Get ready for the World Tour of Agile at the Agile Online Summit 2023. You can join us from October 24th to 26th for a global showcase of cutting-edge Agile practices and insights. Join us at agileonlinesummit.com. This year, we will be featuring some of the best work done around the world and world-class keynotes. You can check all of that at agileonlinesummit.com. But the best part is that your ticket is on us. That's right, it's free to attend and immerse yourself in the world of Agile excellence. Don't miss out on this opportunity to level up your skills and network with peers and industry experts. Mark your calendars and secure your spot at AOS 23 today by visiting agileonlinesummit.com. So get your free ticket or opt for the full digital pass that lets you keep all the conference videos forever and organize, why not, Agile learning sessions at work. You can get the full digital access at agileonlinesummit.com. I'll see you in the conference floor. Hello everybody, welcome to our Team Tuesday, and this week we have with us, joining us from Finland, Aki Salmi. Hey Aki, welcome back.
Hello. Thank you.
So Aki, on Tuesdays we talk teams, but before we dive into that, share with us, what's the book that most influenced you in your career as a Scrum Master?
Yeah, I think like back in the days when I was Scrum Master, that would have been Agile Retrospectives by
Diana Larsen.
And Diana Larsen, yes.
Yeah.
Now I'd say that currently in my current role, which is not Scrum Master, but there's a lot of coaching involved, there's a lot of leading and things like that. I would say even the Dare to Lead by Brene Brown or Atlas of the Heart by Brene Brown. Basically all the books from Brene Brown. So choose any.
So tell us a little bit more about this Dare to Lead. What were the key takeaways for you when you read that book?
I think like some of the key takeaways that on these things is like how to be your true self at work, how to show your true self, how to be honest with yourself, how to have honest self-expression and how to sort of embrace the humanity of us. Also with when it comes to like emotions and feelings. So how to talk about how important it is to be vulnerable and show up and to be seen.
Tell us a little bit more about that. If you would have to explain why it is important to be vulnerable, to show up, and to be seen, how would you explain that to someone who's not read the book?
Okay, so this could like come yet another book, and I think this was something I read when I was Scrum Master, The 5 Dysfunctions of a Team. So 5 Dysfunctions of a Team says the first dysfunction, the biggest dysfunction is lack of trust. So without trust, there's no high performing teams if there's no trust in the if there's no trust in the team. Trust, in a sense, from Brene Brown is quote is trust is how is it? Trust is earned not through heroic deeds, but by listening, paying attention, and gestures of genuine care and connection. And this is by Brene Brown. And why is this important? Like these are the small moments of like where I can show up myself and I can be vulnerable. And when I'm true to myself, these are sort of the moments when I can be like, these are these small moments where trust can be built. It's also like these moments where I can listen to the other and the other can start trusting on me or on more. And also the vice versa, when I show up myself in these small moments, the other can then listen and have these gestures of genuine care and connections towards me. So there's this trust that happens both ways. And that can help building the trust between two people, individuals, and then we can spark that trust to be within a team. For example, if we talk about check-ins, we talk about check-ins later. if we do these things and if we meet each other as humans, if we show up as humans, so then that's a way how to start building trust. And that also works as Scrum Master, that's very effective as a lead developer. It's a thing that I do at work.
The book is Dare to Lead by Brene Brown, and we'll put the link in the show notes, of course, so that you guys can go and check it out. So, Aki, that was the book, but now we turn our attention into the teams, which is, our focus with that trust building and creating moments of trust building that you were just explaining. So, share with us a story of a team. Tell us a little bit about the context, and then explain to us how small little behaviors developed over time and eventually became a big problem for that team.
I have one small, and I think this is also important one because of studies like the project Aristotle, where the Google study about highly effective teams. The story was basically the same team when I was Scrum Master. So what I witnessed there was pretty sort of interesting behavior, because what happened was the team was very empowered to make the decisions. And that was the thing, that we were very empowered to make all the decisions until someone came to fix it. And we didn't have any lead in there. There were no lead people there. Everyone was in the sort of the same level. Again, this can be a good thing, right? There was in the book by Ray Dalio about the principles, there was this meritocracy of ideas thinking, which was something that I've never seen experienced, but sort of makes sense. But the example how slowly the team did self-destroy was that they were driven by consensus.
Give us a clear example of that.
Basically what I saw happening was there was two ways to do we choose design A or B, or do we do with something new, or do we continue with the current one? If there was one person out of 9 that wasn't going towards the new thing, we kept on doing this current one, which also means that there's less experiments in there. So there happen these things. So there's less experiments. We get more stuck in the current way of doing things. There's less learning, and that sort of also what I experienced in certain situations. It did halt the progress.
So if you had the opportunity to go back in time and kind of face that moment again, what do you wish you would have done at that time?
What I would have wished that I would have done at that time would be that I would have brought that up as a retrospective topic, where we talk about the systemic effects this behavior that we're doing has on the team, and we would be listening to each other. We would be listening how this is for people, what are the systemic, sort of thinking this from a bit from the systemic viewpoint also.
And tell us a little bit more about that. When you mentioned, I would have liked to discuss the systemic impacts of this kind of behavior. What do you mean by that in practice?
So in the discussion that I would have with the teams, I would not focus on the concreteness of what happened, how did we make the decision on how we didn't go forward because person X didn't say yay. But we would talk about the question on from the work happens here. So we would start going into a bit up and talk about the how of what, and also we would talk about the what of how. How do we work and what does it mean? So trying to take it in from abstract level a bit up and talk about what are the implications for our work? How does this affect on what we're doing or how we're doing things, and questions like that.
This is a great tip, by the way. When you look at the work that we are doing and you take a step back or a step higher in abstraction, if you will, then it is no longer about what person A or person B did, but rather what did we do as a team and why did we do it? Like what was the set of, how do you call it, expectations that we had, and what was the actual outcome? And when we ask those questions that you just gave as an example, it isn't anymore about what person A or person B did, but rather we as a team, how do we feel about what happened? And do we want to even continue to work this way rather than did person A or person B do something wrong? And this can be very powerful for the team to do what we call, from a systemic perspective, double loop learning, right? Like not what did we do it right, but rather why did we do it, and is it getting us what we want?
Exactly. And this comes into my mind like I wasn't doing this, but I was back in the days I was starting to be sort of, I don't like this English translation, but my understanding is professional supervisor, which is basically doing retrospective for nursing homes, for hospitals, for school teachers, and basically providing that space. So I was studying that when I was Scrum Master at the same time. So in there, we have this mental model of how to think about work, where we think four characteristics. So we talk about the core task. What is the thing that I would wish to talk about from this perspective. What is the core task? What is the emotional climate that this thing of this consensus-driven work, how does it affect us like individuals? How is the emotional climate? What are the structures that might help us to get focused on the core task? And if this is sort of weight on us. And then the fourth one is like leadership. And with leadership, we don't talk about the act of leading or the role of a leader, but leadership as something that is like adult attitude towards their own work.
Absolutely. And that's if we take those four characteristics, that's a great format for a retrospective right there, right? Absolutely. Yeah. Great story. Thank you for sharing that, Aki.
You're welcome.
Tuesday is Team Day here on the Scrum Master Toolbox podcast. But tomorrow we talk about something that goes beyond the work we do with the teams. We will talk about how to lead change and what our guests have learned from leading and participating in change programs during their career. See you tomorrow. We really hope you liked our show. And if you did, why not rate this podcast on Stitcher or iTunes? Share this podcast and let other Scrum Masters know about this valuable resource for their work. Remember that sharing is caring.